Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Netflix Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Netflix Christmas movies.
I'm Jax, and I continue to be excited about the Lohanaissance.
I'm Alonso, and weed gummies, and this
It's
the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Wow. Hi, everybody. We're back. The crew's back.
Yeah, it is.
We've now finished all of the Hallmark Christmas movies from Thanksgiving week, and now
That's
we
right.
can finally get to our little
This
secret
is the premium content right here.
before we get
That's
to more Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yes.
It's like, we got one day off. And
It's
and
tough. I wish Hallmark would think about us. Think about us little people when
Think about us.
they determine what movies they put where in the schedule. Like, could I use The Finish Line to be December 10th? Yes, that would be a great movie for December 10th. Instead, we're not getting those movies. No.
Hey, look, I admire you guys for keeping up, because once Thanksgiving week hits, that's when like my little coal car is off the rails and rolling down the hill.
But you're a real film critic, Alonso. You have to watch all
Also
of the
that.
Oscar bait movies and have like
Also
a vote
that,
for
yes.
LA film critics. It's like you have things to do.
It's true, but before Thanksgiving week, I'm able to sort of like find room for all
Find
this
the
stuff.
pockets,
But
yeah.
then Thanksgiving week happens, and it's like suddenly I'm 8 movies behind. Oh, and what the Cherry Lanes are on Hallmark Plus. So
Which, by the way, thank you so much for bringing up Hallmark Plus. Just received word a couple days ago. You can now get Hallmark Plus through Philo. You can add
love
it
that.
right to your Philo.
Makes it
And
easy.
so you can go into your account if you don't already have one. You can go to philo.tv/DTH and sign up that way. But you can add Hallmark Plus, so it's all in one nice place. You got all the movies. You got us. And so head over to Philo, and you can do that. Which is
Jax, be honest. How many Hallmark Christmas movies have you watched this year?
Oh, I'm going to be honest. I got paid for 2 years to watch them.
Yeah.
It feels kind of
Yeah.
weird watching them for free now. I do love to support my friends. So like I have Rachel Boston's The Miss Miracle DVR'd, Brits I have DVR'd, Erin I'm going to watch hers on Hallmark Plus.
She's
But
also in the
no,
Christmas Quest briefly.
She's in the Christmas Quest. Oh, wait, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I knew that. Yes.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I'm good.
Yeah. Good for you.
Good.
Good for you. I love that.
Do you
Like,
watch?
I do actually want to watch the Chiefs one just because, Dan, I know you liked it. My
I
family
did.
likes the Chiefs. But it's interesting. Another group chat that shall not be named but is in the Hallmark community, they didn't love it.
So what's wild is this is fun. So we got time for this. What are we up against?
Why not?
Bran and I got some screeners. We watched that movie weeks like before it came out.
Yeah.
So we didn't deal with any of the promotion. We watched
Not
Holiday
that
Touchdown.
we would anyway, though.
No,
'cause
that's
we don't.
true. But we didn't watch Holiday Touch. We watched Holiday
got Philo,
Touchdown.
one button ad
That's
skip,
right.
you don't gotta deal with
And
it.
Christmas Quest. We watched it the same morning. We like in the middle of November at some point, and I like in a vacuum. Like it's 7:30 in the morning, and I'm watching that movie, and I'm like, this is the first time like as a huge sports fan that's and being a sports fan is somehow sometimes counterintuitive and makes you feel like you're crazy because you probably are. This is the first time Hallmark's ever been near correct on getting sports fans right. And so for me, I thought that was like universal. I thought people were going to see it and go,
Yep.
oh, this is the thing that makes sense. Like, and clearly that did not happen. And so,
Well,
I'm
Oh,
glad
I
we
didn't
are.
know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what people thought. Sorry, go.
No. Sorry, I'm not a sports guy at all, but I have to say that watching the Chiefs movie reminded me of when I saw the original British Fever Pitch.
We made
with
the same
Colin
comparison.
Firth.
Yep, we sure did.
Because they're movies about people that sports is key to their sort of family relationships and their kind of personal being, which is an alien concept to me. But that movie and this one both sort of make me go, oh, okay, I'm not going to ever do that, but I see what it's about now.
Yeah.
I see why that brings generations together. I see why it's a thing that gives, family members who might otherwise have nothing to talk about, this one thing in common to carry together. And so I thought I thought the Holiday Touchdown captured that in a way that Nick Hornby does in Fever Pitch.
Yeah. So even Alonso liked it. So everybody who didn't like it, I mean, come on.
Well, and I will say, you're right. Sports does bring people together, but sometimes people don't like sports. But I think the one thing that brings everyone together is the Lohana-sans.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Transition
Without a
story.
doubt.
Thank you. Is the rise.
And if
of
you're only
Lindsay Lohan.
semi-competitive, you could play Christmas Movie Magic.
Absolutely.
Game. Yeah, of course.
Semi-competitive, fully competitive. Not. I mean, it can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Or you can play by yourself.
That's right.
It. You can do whatever you want. I don't know why I always go like this to Aaron. She's off camera, but Aaron, you do play it every time when you watch a movie.
Every Christmas movie that I watch, even Home Alone or
You
Elf,
do
like,
have friends. Like you do watch.
Yeah, but like sometimes I just throw them on at night as I'm like getting ready for
That's
bed.
what I'm trying to say. I'm not
Yeah, you
trying
were
to
doing a terrible
throw
job of
Aaron
it.
under the
Yeah.
bus. Be
Yeah.
like, Aaron doesn't have any friends. She comes
Or if
here,
you're
she
alone all the
leaves.
time.
Like my friend Aaron.
No, Jax is on a Hallmark podcast, and she's not even watching all the Hallmark
That's
Christmas
right.
movies. You think my friends are getting together to watch all
No way.
40, 87 of these movies? They're not. So
I
it's
think
just me, and it's a nice way
not
for me
just
to
for
get
parties,
through all
is what I'm trying to
billion
As
of
we're,
them.
as we're getting later in the year, we have this draft. It's worth some money to all of us. And the
Forgot
fact that,
about the money.
the
I gotta
fact
be
that
honest with you.
Jax has only rated 2 of these movies is going to help those 2 movies tremendously because she gave them both high ratings. I think she did rate 2 of those movies. And so,
Yeah, one of them was mine.
oh yeah, and one of them was hers. So yeah,
I think that you should have
Cheater.
to. You should have to rate.
Jax has 1 rating in the spreadsheet. It's twas the date before Christmas. It's 8.5, which is the
Oh, I
highest.
got it. Shoot, I got to put the other one in because that was mine. and I loved it.
think you should have to
Yeah,
rate
Twas
at
the Date
least
is mine,
10.
actually.
But twas the date is 8.5 is the highest rating, and it would not count in the aggregate. But Jax, who's like, I'm not going to watch any of these, she threw 1 in for that movie, which is going to help Alonso.
Well,
out.
we did all watch it together.
That's true.
So,
That's
It,
true.
felt, it was
we know
fun
she
because I was
saw it.
watching with my friends,
Yeah.
and I love Amy groaning.
Yeah, of course.
I think unless you put in at least 10 ratings, it doesn't. You don't.
Wow,
count.
all of a
You're
sudden
out.
10 is the number.
10's the
Okay,
number.
Rye Guy's not going to be in here
catch up.
either then.
10. Yeah.
I'll catch up.
Look, I try to get through them all. A for ratings, B because we're going to do the
That's right.
ranking at the end. And that's
Dude.
frankly, if it weren't for that, I
now-
would be very.
I'm now
like,
looking at your.
lackadaisical.
I'm looking at your ratings now, Alonso, and the missed opportunity of the decade was you joining us for 5 gold rings.
Oh
Because you and
man,
I mean, all of us hated it, but you and I mean, that thing didn't crack a 2 of 10 from either of us.
like that's worse than most, if not all, of the Christmas in July movies.
Yeah, you haven't gotten a novel
You guys
Noel
gave it
yet,
a 1?
So,
I liked Novel Noel more than you
oh
did.
dear
actually.
God! Well, we
Yeah.
both gave. Alonso gave it a 1.2. I gave it a 1.8. Jax. So I was higher on 5
5
gold
gold
rings than Alonso was.
Wow.
I gave Novel Noel a straight 1.
Listen, five gold rings. You got 5 rings. One of them doesn't matter. So it's just
Well,
like,
the
whatever.
5th ring doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
That's what you need to know up top.
One
5th
ring
ring
doesn't
Guys,
doesn't
I'm
matter.
I'm just stepping to the side for a second to crack a window because they turned on the heat, and I feel like I'm in a sweat lodge.
Been
Okay,
there,
been there,
man.
yeah.
I'm going to start talking about Our Little Secret. How about that? Our Little
Sure,
Secret
why not?
originally premiered on Netflix on November 27th, 2024, and it went a little something like this. The movie kicks off with a fun little animation telling the story of a secret that started in 1996 when Avery met Logan. They became quick friends. Avery could 100% be herself around him and vice versa. And as they got older, that friendship blossomed into true love. The kind of love, the narrator tells us, that can get you through anything, like the loss of Avery's mom. Another loss, another
Whoa,
mom,
another
another
dead parent
loss.
here.
What can you do? Fast forward, they're adults now. Avery lands a job in London, and Logan is less than thrilled by this. It's 2014, and on their last night together, Logan is driving the struggle bus, to say the least. He's moping around. He's had a little bit too much to drink, and they're in the middle of a fight. But it boils down to him saying, I'm just really gonna miss you, and I'm sad. And, fair. But at her going away party, her dad gives an emotional speech before handing the mic off to Logan. And Logan gets down on one knee, but before he can even pop the question, Avery blurts out a no. Logan does not handle it well and throws out a, if your mom were alive, she'd
Good
be
gosh.
disappointed. Oh my goodness. That's the difference between Netflix and Hallmark right there. Hallmark would never have someone be that mean. Avery breaks up with him right on the spot and leaves. Cue a fun montage of the world's biggest moments from 2014 to 2024. Shout out to the two big events that I know, we would all mention, Stranger Things and Squid Games. I'm sure it
of
has
course.
nothing
Yeah,
to do
no,
with
no,
this
no.
being a
And
Netflix-
Bridgerton. There's
and
three.
That's
Yes,
right.
Yes.
So, but of course, that's just everybody would do
Yeah,
that.
everybody would do that. If
It's
you're
not just
mentioning
'cause
top
it's
30.
Netflix.
We didn't start the fire.
Now it's 2024. Avery is a hotshot dealmaker with a hotshot dealmaker boyfriend named Cam. Logan, meanwhile, is a contractor dating Cassie, who comes from a family where every sibling starts with the letter C. More on that soon. Avery and Cam head to her dad's house, which is all packed up. Her dad, now remarried, is selling the family home. She says goodbye to her dad and stepmom as they leave for a holiday trip, and then she takes one more moment to kind of take in the house. Then it's off to Cam's very, uptight family, specific family. At their gathering, guess who walks in? Logan and Cassie. Turns out Cam is Cassie's brother, one of those C names. Logan and Avery are stunned, but quickly decide to pretend that they've never met each other. Just be easier this way. Again, I think agree to disagree on that one. But, Avery already is intimidated by Cam's mom. It's Kristen Chenoweth, everybody, and doesn't want to add any more drama. But the awkwardness only grows. Cam has one former friend that comes into town, a girl named Sophie who studied abroad and now comes back. Cam's mom loves Sophie. Meanwhile, Logan and Avery strike a deal. Avery will help Logan land a business deal with Tim Meadows, as you do, and Logan will make Kristen Chenoweth like Avery. He's like, it's just not that hard. This is where things go off the rails a bit. Avery borrows a jacket from the younger brother, eats some gummies from the pocket, and discovers a little bit too late that they are indeed weed gummies. Realizes this while at church. She ends up going on stage and rambling about the birth of Jesus, which leads to a Christmas sing-along of everyone's favorite Christmas song, Celebrate Good Times.
That's right.
Cool and the gang. Kristen Chenoweth is not impressed, but the pastor loved it, so she can't really get upset about it. Later, the munchies hit, as I hear they are prone to do. Avery eats a batch of cookies meant for a cookie exchange, and then realizes, oh no, these are for the cookie exchange. So to cover it up, she blames the dog. She frames the dog for eating the cookies, which backfires because there was chocolate in the cookies. So now the dog has to be rushed to the vet. Shenanigans ensue, but they do manage to keep Kristen in the dark about the situation, thanks to
Dr. Spachemin.
That's
I
exactly
was going to say the vet is Dr. Spachemin.
That's right.
The chaos continues to ramp up as Cam's younger brother Callum, the one with the gummies, overhears Logan and Avery talking about their past relationship. He blackmails them into helping him get some booze and whatnot. Then there's a bar scene. Guess who shows up at the bar? It's Sophie. Avery sees her getting flirty with Cam, and when she gets a call that her dad's real estate agent needs to get inside the house and doesn't have the key, she leaves. Logan offers to give her a ride, and they have a heart-to-heart about her memories of the house, and he encourages her, hey, if you love this house, maybe you should just buy it. And they spend some quiet time just sitting in the house. Later, Logan catches Cam sneaking into the house late, and Cam is like, hey, Logan, maybe let's just keep this between you and me, bro to bro, bro to bro. Everything finally blows up on Christmas Eve at the gathering. Cassie surprises Logan by inviting his parents, and Grandma spills the beans about Logan and Avery knowing each other. Callum exposes Avery's cookie crime just as she's about to leave. Avery asks Cam if anything happened between Sophie. He admits that it did. It is over. Avery leaves. Logan asks if he can call her. She says no. But when she finds out that Logan suggested to her dad that he should sell the house to her, she realizes that he might be something special. She then tries to help make sure that the business plan that he had it actually gets into Tim Meadows' hands, which it does, and it all works out. In the end, Avery's dad does give her the home or sells her the home, and at the housewarming party, Logan shows up and asks for a second chance. They tell each other that they love each other, and they kiss. A year later, they are planning their wedding, and then through animation, because I guess that's how we should wrap it up, we learn that they get married, and that, my friends, was
Our little secret. We did it. Timed that one perfectly, by the way.
Thank
Nailed
you.
it. Yeah.
Good for us. We've only been doing it for 7
So
years.
thank you. That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Everybody. It's Brandon Gray. Right there.
It's going to be clapped for. More on that tomorrow. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk about this movie here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about the Netflix movie, the Lindsay Lohan movie. Let's be honest, Our Little Secrets. Let's break it down. We're going to start with a hot take, as we're sure exactly how we felt about this movie. We do not hold back. And who do I start with here? Do I start with Jax?
Start with Jax.
Alonso? Jax.
Start with, yeah.
Jax, tell us what you thought. Our Little Secret.
It was my favorite of the year, hands down, that I've watched so far. I watched it twice. Once with a couple of friends, and then another viewing with friends, because everyone wants to watch this movie. It's number one on Netflix. The first time I watched it was with my friend who used to date Ian Harding, so that was fun to have.
Get
some
out of
background.
town.
Wow.
Yes. Well, apparently they had a very innocent relationship. So I don't know any details about.
That's our little secret.
You might want to
okay?
know.
What do you think I want to know, Jax?
Just if anyone has any specific questions, I can't.
What's it like?
If you have specific questions, I can't answer them about private things. But
Good God.
I'll say
it's
is
a
I
TVG
suspect
red
it's
show, Jax.
more than a little secret.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
No, I really have no idea. But anyway,
Ian is a friend of the show. You need to know he's been on this program and is a wonderful person.
And we know he's a good kisser.
No,
so.
no. She says he's a really good person. I shouldn't have made that little sexy joke about him. I thought he was
we're
wonderful
messaging
in this
him.
movie.
There's no way around it.
He was great. Look, this is a star-studded cast. I had a blast from start to finish. Lindsay Lohan is great in this. It's my favorite one of these of hers. I think she has great chemistry with Ian Harding. Kristen Chenoweth, a gosh darn national Trevor. Trevor?
She's a national Trevor.
She's changing her name to Trevor.
It's a national Trevor.
Well, no, she is an advocate for Trevor
Of the
Project.
Trevor Project.
go.
Yes,
There
she
you go.
is. Yeah.
Perfect.
You
Good
knew
save.
exactly what you were doing.
A national
Well,
Trevor Project supporter.
I love to see outspoken Christian women who are also outspoken about being for gay rights. Kristen Chenoweth,
Amen.
love you
That's
forever.
right.
Amen. She's a delight in so many ways in this. She's so funny. Tim Meadows. I think it's Judy Reyes who plays his wife in this.
Yeah, from
She's on
Scrubs.
and High Potential, which is like one of
Yeah,
my
she's great on
favorite
High
shows right
Potential.
now.
That's a fun show.
She's so good. Gosh darn delighted. I will say my favorite scene was the scene where she gets high and she's talking in church. Number one, because I've been to many masses and I get church giggles a lot, but also because about 8 months ago, I thought I was having CBD, which is different than THC.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know.
Yep, it
And
is.
You've brought
I
a
greened
PowerPoint?
out. Yeah.
Here's the differences. So they take it from
So there's
this part.
Delta 8 and Delta 9.
The dopamine center of the brain.
Well, what I thought was supposed to be 10 milligrams of CBD was actually 75 milligrams of THC.
Way downtown.
It was I just, you've seen lots of scenes in movies where people get drunk and that can be funny. This just delighted me to no end. I was laughing so hard. Yeah, for me, this one really hit it from start to finish. I loved it.
Alonso.
Yeah, not so much. I agree. This is a stacked cast, and I love the fact that we have this image of Kristen Chenoweth as always being this like chirpy little, just a little precious darling. But she loves to play these edgy characters. I mean, even like she originally got famous from doing Wicked on Broadway, and as we all know now, like that character is not the hero.
What's that?
Wicked? I've not heard of it.
And so you look at her work on like GCB, the Netflix
Pushing
Holidays,
Daisies?
which we talked about, Pushing Daisies. Like she likes to sort of mess around with with her seeming kind of like Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm image. So she was a lot of fun to watch. And the movie, bakes up some pretty fun shenanigans along the way of misunderstandings and farcical, can't tell the person and we're lying about that, yada. But then it takes a hard right into let's be emotional in the third chunk that they didn't give the characters enough of a sort of an emotional life to carry that shift. And so it winds up becoming this, for me, abrupt, jarring transition from like kooky farce shenanigans to like, we're having feelings now. And I didn't think the movie had the weight to support that. So as much as I do love the Lohanessance and watching Ian Harding in this and Holidays back to back, I have new respect for what he brings to the table. I just overall it kind of lost me at some point.
It didn't lose me. I'm with Jax on this one. I love this one. I agree. Of the Netflix Lindsay Lohan movies, this one is my new favorite. I thought she's was just really funny in this movie. I think she's a really solid comedic performer. She does a lot of funny things. Ian Harding, we love him. And it's hard not to love him.
Is Ian Harding always bringing Billy Crudup energy? Is that what he's always doing? That's what it feels like to me.
Yes, except not when Billy Crudup got creepy. He got creepy then later
not
on.
Morning show Billy Crudup.
No,
right.
I stopped watching after season 1 when Billy Crudup
Inventing the Abbots. Billy Crudup.
Yeah, Billy Crudup. Yeah, Big Fish Billy Crudup.
Listen, is this movie's general premise ridiculous? Yeah, it is, because it's not easier to keep a lie when you're in a house with a family for a few days.
Yeah.
It's a
funny story.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to believe this.
Just be honest about it, and if they can't handle it, then that's on them. But whatever. It happens, and it leads to some fun. And I also love the church scene. And as Alonso knows this about me, my love of Four Christmases, another wonderful, ridiculous church scene happens in that. Also with Kristen Chenoweth in the movie.
The Four Christmases nativity scene in the church is the best scene in that movie by a mile.
It's as good as it gets.
That's that movie, whatever. That scene, hilarious.
Yeah. So really liked this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. Dano?
Yeah, I would say it's a mixed bag for me. I may be a little higher than Alonso on it, but there's almost as much stuff that doesn't work that does work in the movie. I like the premise. It is stupid. You just tell them, but I had not seen this particular twist. I don't think I have anyway, of we both dated, and then 10 years later, we're dating siblings.
And you're stuck in the house
together. Yeah, you're stuck in the house together. I thought it was, like, I had a bigger problem with ways they were finding to put these two together all the time. I thought that was really silly. The church scene didn't work for me. I feel like we do this all the time, and most of that church scene didn't land like I wanted it to land. Like when she's walking down the aisle and she's narrating, I thought for all the world we were going to see another version of that where she's saying all of that out loud, and that would have been hysterical.
What about when the Blessed Mother talks to her? Come on.
I don't know. Maybe I just was expecting more from that scene, and that scene didn't work. But I will say, my favorite part of this movie is in the third act when Ian Harding starts getting overwhelmed with the number of zany secrets coming his way. Yeah. Like his girlfriend's dad is having an affair with the guy,
the wife of the guy that he wants to do business with.
Whose daughter is having an affair with Lindsay Lohan's boyfriend, and then there's the dog. It actually wasn't sick. Like, there's a point in this movie
when he hears the sound in the closet, and you can see the look on his face, like
I can't
do this.
Yes.
Not another one of these.
But I also have to know what's behind this door.
So it does, for me, it starts off strong. It loses me a little bit in the middle. The church thing didn't work for me. And then at the end, when when we get full screwball comedy and Ian Harding is just trying to be almost the Michael Bluth of the movie, that did work for me. I thought that was really, really fun and funny. And it's the best Lindsay Lohan movie, but I say that thinking she had not hit a home run yet. So like for me, this movie is fine. The Irish movie's terrible. Her first movie, I didn't like as much as the three of you did. So for me, it's the best by default. Second best Netflix. I think it's better than Hot Frosty and miles better than Merry Gentlemen. Not as good to me as the Million Pentatonics movie. A sentence I can't believe I'm saying out loud. And yes,
know, right?
Kristen Chenoweth is great. There you go.
It's time for
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I just wanted to add real quick because you talked about how we haven't seen the people pretending to be or whatever before, which we haven't. But when they get to the whole thing of like, hey, I'll help you get in good with Kristen Chenoweth, and you help me with my business thing, reminded me a lot of the Warren Christie Amy Acker relationship in Crashing Through the Snow, which was a movie that I found myself wishing I were watching instead.
Yeah, that's a really, really good Christmas movie. A really, really good one.
It's time for all the feels where we talk about what in this movie gave us feels. Jax,
it's this may actually speak to what Alonso was saying about how they couldn't build the emotional momentum, because all my feels are funny feels. So yeah, I could see that. I don't have any sort of like warm, fuzzy feels. Let's talk about the church scene. Bursting into song, amazing. I love how white women continually expect black women to save us.
Yeah.
And they do.
Over and over again.
And they shouldn't have to. But my gosh, like that was it was a really, really fun sequence. As I mentioned, the talking Blessed Mother absolutely like took me out. Seeing her in the pew, like should she go up? The little choir boy who was supposed to tell the priest that that Lindsay Lohan's character was sick, but didn't. And then he has a cute little look on his face. And then finally, when that priest talks to her after, and I love the way he played it. Look, growing up Catholic and knowing a lot about the inner workings of the Catholic Church that sometimes aren't fantastic.
What?
I know, hot take.
Yeah.
I just thought it was such a delight that this priest seemed like a good guy, good priest. And when he goes up to Lindsay Lohan's character after and, just compliments her, saying that it was largely inaccurate, but that it was really entertaining and it brought people into the church.
Jax, not to interrupt you, but I had in my wait what, but I'll say it now. The pastor saying that everyone loved it. It doesn't matter if it was accurate is peak church.
Peak church.
That is peak church. That is, he said the quiet thing out loud. He was like, none of this actually lines up with what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to treat people. But you know what? The crowd, it was a banger. The crowd loved it. They're ready to come back next week. So it was
I
peak
appreciate
church.
that transparency. Peak church, and I really appreciate that transparency. I love how he's like giving Kristen Chenoweth the sly eye, like, okay, fair weather worshipers. And he's like, I hope I see you. And then my other feels when Kristen Chenoweth, I mean, honestly, pretty much every single thing that woman did throughout
National
the
Trevor
movie,
Project supporter, yeah.
National. Please support this holiday season. But when she was saying the line to her daughter, I should have wrote it down, but I forget exactly what it was verbatim. But when she said something like, oh, it's Jesus' birthday, but you do you. And it was so darn cute.
2,000 years old, but
Yeah.
very funny. Alonso?
I just love her.
Yeah, most of my feels were also about the church moment. And look, as our friend Sleepy Kitty Paw pointed out, like the people accidentally getting high bit is so overdone at this point. Like they do it in 80 for Brady. They did it's become a really obvious trope
Jax does
over
it.
a lot
Jax
of movies.
does
Jax
it a
got
few
high
weeks
by
ago.
accident earlier.
That's true.
So that's
Well,
why
I didn't know that was a bit.
And it became a thing in movies,
Okay, I should know that.
But yeah, but I have to say, like,
high accidentally.
Yeah.
but it all comes down to the devil is in the details, and the details is that I think Lindsay Lohan sells it really well, and the capper is the priest not only like thanking her for it, but throwing shade at Kristen Chenoweth for being a Christmas and Easter attendee. I thought was like, okay, you've landed that plane. I'll give you that. And then also I just want to give a shout out while we're talking about how amazing this cast is. Henry Czerny, who plays Lindsay Lohan's dad. A venerable, Mission Impossible, Boys of St. Vincent, like a great Canadian character actor. So as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh,
When he started the narration, I was like, is that the dude, the Kittredge dude or whatever from Mission Impossible?
Yeah. I did get a kick out of him when she's giving him a hard time about his shirt or whatever, and then when she walks out, his new wife is like, I think your shirt looks great. And he's like, yeah, it does.
They've got the matching outfit.
This is such a small moment, but I don't know why it made me laugh so much. Maybe it's because it's like something that I would do. But the what is it called? Choir boy? Yeah, choir boy.
Altar boy.
Altar boy.
Yep.
She walks around he walks around the corner to give him the warning to give to the pastor, and the boy's just like, Ave Maria. Yeah, that's good. I don't know why it made me laugh. That kid cracked
He's
me
the funniest
up.
part of that whole scene.
I thought he was so funny in that moment, and I don't know if that was in the script or not. I like to live in a world where it's not, and this kid as a kid's like, I'm going to do a bit. I'm going to do a bit, and it's going to crush, and it did crush, kid. Great job. Dan?
This movie pairs a first-time writer, Haley De Dominici, I believe I'm saying that correctly, with director Stephen Herrick, and my feels is, Bran, I'm going to tell you 3 movies, and they're all directed by Stephen Herrick. Mighty Ducks, Mr. Holland's Opus, and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. This guy has been making feature films for 40 years, like crowd pleasers, and they paired him with a first-time screenwriter, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that they're working on a Netflix movie.
That's
so that was it. That's all I got.
Very nice. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get to the way what and the what the Hallmark here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about Our Dirty Little Secret. Song not in the movie. Not in the movie.
Because it's not dirty. It's just our little
It's just
secret.
Our Little Secret. Let's.
The only thing dirty has been Jack's talking about Ian Harding on this episode.
Oh, man, that's tough. Let's get to the wait what. It's where we talk about what this movie made us go, wait, what? Jax?
2 obvious ones that I'm sure that you guys will go into more. But yeah, you would have just said at the initial onset that they knew each other from high school. They didn't even have to say that they dated. I could understand wanting to keep that a lie, or wanting to lie about that and thinking you could. But there's no way that not knowing each other.
It's just way too much work to keep that going.
And you know that this is not just a one-off dinner. And even we all knew they're not from a big town. All of that didn't make any sense. Another thing that didn't make sense, but look, it gave us a great scene. Who does not know? I am a cat lady, and I know that dogs are allergic to chocolate.
Yeah.
Can't be doing that. But watching Lindsay Lohan crush the mashed up cookie into that little puppy's face was so funny. Again, couldn't stop laughing. Finally, let's talk about Sophie, who is an incredibly attractive woman who seems kind. She's a doctor. There's no way she's interested in Lindsay Lohan's loser boyfriend. I get that they have a history. And we've all.
This seems personal.
We've all dated down in high school. I know, I get it. We've all dated down in high school, but girl, you can do better than that. I don't believe it for a hot second.
Hey, she's a doctor. He's a lawyer. It's one of those things.
He's a schlub. He's a schlub.
He's a schlub.
Alonso?
Yeah, well, first of all, you touched on it in the plot synopsis when literally of the most important things that have happened in the last decade, 3 of them are Netflix projects.
That's right.
And 2 of them are Elon Musk.
That's right.
Who wrote this list?
Yeah.
And why are you so a terrible person?
If you tell me,
can I ask a follow-up on that? I get the Netflix thing. Why do you think they had Elon Musk in there twice?
I don't know. I don't know why they thought the Cybertruck and the invention of X was that big a deal. It just seems very lazy.
It seemed random at best, but there were 2 or 3 legitimate ones that threw the whole thing off.
Yeah.
They should have done it with just Netflix shows and dumb stuff. That's what they should have done. But they had 3 or 4 in there that made you go, they're really trying to jump us 15 years here, and they're using Squid Game.
Yeah,
it should have been Love is Blind. It should have been all Netflix shows.
Emily in Paris.
That's right. Yeah.
That actually would have been really funny.
Christmas Prince 3, The Christmas Baby.
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Princess Switch 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Yes, all of them. The other thing is this movie, they never come out and say it, but this is Atlanta. because Marietta and Peachtree City are actual suburbs of Atlanta.
Shout out.
Peachtree City is not the tiny backwater they would make you think it is, by the way. It's like, it's pretty big. Two people could be from there and not know each other.
It's like Greenville.
You
It's like
know.
the size of Greenville. Like Greenville City is 65,000. I think Peachtree City's close to that.
Yeah, totally. So also it was like they are acting like they're somewhere colder. Like they don't do the fake snow or anything, but there's a lot of bundling up and stuff. I'm like, Atlanta in December, like
It has been a cold December.
It's been cold the last 5 days, but typically it's like 70 degrees here, and it is not cold like that.
But I will say,
throw a fleece on and shut up.
Yeah, that's right.
But as somebody who like grew up in Florida, anytime it gets below like 70, you're like, get out the big jacket. We're freaking out. So maybe it was just like a brisk night, and they're just acting like they're from the south.
Yeah, maybe so. Anyway, that was it. Pretty much everything else. I mean, like whether or not it worked for me, at least I think made internal logic sense.
The Peachtree City of it all was crazy. That's a big place. That's not Mayberry. Like that's a big place.
I don't know. Like this family, especially Kristen Chenoweth's character, who's so like buttoned up, and we got all the family portraits framed, and I'm in the front.
That was a funny gag.
That was my favorite.
It was very funny.
Probably the
I like
part,
things to be a very specific way. I don't buy her sending two people that aren't a part of their family to pick out the Christmas
There's no
tree.
world.
Like that was like that's to your point. Like that just doesn't make any sense. Why those two would?
She would have ordered it months ago and had it delivered.
They had
100%.
the times that they have these two, and Ian Harding and Lindsay Lohan end up together. Most of them don't hold water at all, even for this movie. Like they just don't.
Yeah. And then also later on in the movie, we get to Secret Santa, and he realizes what's about to happen very quickly.
Yes.
And he's like, hey, can I talk to you over there? And no one in the family is like, wonder what that's about.
No.
I wonder why those
Normal.
two people
Normal.
saw one present open up in Secret Santa and then went into a room by themselves.
Nah.
Sure,
Let's give
fine.
them the time. Let's
Give them the time. Give them the space.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it's gonna all
We're
become
holding
very clear.
space.
Dan?
Justice for Wine with a screw cap on it. I don't understand why that gets such a bad rap in the year 2024. I'm not the biggest wine drinker in the world, but I've had wine from a bottle with a screw cap that is better than a grocery store bottle of wine before.
Back in the day, like only your Boone's Farm got the screw
That's right.
cap, but
Melon
nowadays,
Bowler at Boone's Farm. That's right.
yeah, but now it's a different story, and I think Chenoweth's character would know that.
Yeah, she would know. Like there's a wine from Willamette Valley in Oregon that's a Pinot Noir, and it's a screw cap, and it's delightful. So there are legitimate wines that have screw caps on them, and that was a weird thing for this movie to do. I just thought of all the things.
How does the Willamette Pinot pair with the THC gummies?
No, that would be a Jack's question, but as far as I know, pretty good. You drop them in there, right? Like Mentos and Coke. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Just boom.
It does explode.
That's why you got the screw cap. You put it right back, screw right back on there.
It takes a little bit of time.
That's right.
But then
you'll get it. There's tannins once they get going.
Yeah. Don't put a second one in there. It's gonna happen.
That's right. Just wait for it. I know dog owner that treats their dog like a child. Not that I have any experience with that. No dog owner would ever leave their dog in the situation that their dog is in and wait out in the waiting room. My dog has ingested chocolate, and I stayed with my dog until the moment they told me I had to leave the room. Lindsay Lohan, in a brief moment of, I'm going to air quote, brilliance here, goes, you don't want to see this. You wait outside. I'll wait with the dog. There's just not a dog owner that would do that. Literally, they would all be like, you can take this dog out of my cold, dead fingers. I'm not leaving the dog. That's like for Kristen Chenoweth's character, there's nowhere where she would do that at all, in my opinion. I have to mention it because we are Deck the Hallmark. This business proposal is due on Christmas Eve. Say what you will. And the best way to stand out, and they do mention this later, is to give a cover page to your business proposal that just says construction proposal on it. It doesn't have the big letters, construction proposal.
But the typeface,
The typeface was, it was popping.
I do have a question for you though, Dan.
Yeah.
Does it work ever so slightly better for you? Look, I know it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
but ever so slightly better. That's more of like a family and friend thing, so it doesn't feel like they're running into an office.
I will say it worked better when the guy goes, I've seen 5 just like this. That helped me. That was like my lead weight, like construction proposal. And then that guy goes, Tim Meadows goes, I've seen 5 like this. Show me something different. And it's like, oh, they did it on purpose. So that did help me a little
All
bit.
with this cover page.
And then my last one, I didn't know where to put this. I guess hot take, but I just wrote, why even have Tim Meadows in this movie? And if Tim Meadows wanted to be in the movie because he's friends with Lindsay Lohan, awesome. But Tim Meadows is so multifaceted and talented and like can play cringe humor and quiet humor. He can be more dramatic than this. Literally anyone could have done what he did in this movie, and I just didn't get it. Like, you have
He's in it because Mean Girl.
that's the only thing that I can think. But it seemed like everyone
write him like that.
Even Chris Parnell got to chew more than Tim Meadows
good
did
friend.
in this movie, and I didn't get that at all.
Dare I suggest that a lot of very talented people make these Christmas movies
Paycheck?
knowing that they're not going to be called upon to dig deeply into their bag of tricks.
Don't talk
So how
about
dare
Tim
you think
Meadows.
Just gonna throw that out there.
To say that he's giving anything less than
Refuse to
100
believe
is
it.
unbelievable.
Let's get to
I'm saying he knows it's not going to demand that much of him.
right.
He's going to show up every
Hang
day
out with
on
friends.
time, know his lines,
right.
and as few takes as possible. He gets it. He's a pro.
Let's get to what the Hallmark. It's where we wonder what could have been. Maybe help gives clear any questions we still have. What are we still wondering about? That's what this is for, Jax.
I mean, yeah, Tim Meadows and Kristen Chenoweth. What's going on there? I love that. So it is. It's interesting because do you remember those? I think it was the Today Show anchors that got together, and then their jilted husbands. They got together. I don't know if you guys are familiar with
I
that
don't know
scandal,
that
but
story at
I
all.
am.
Missed that one.
Yeah.
And I've known a couple instances where that's happened. And I just think it's so fun. And I'm glad it works out for everybody. So I really want to see more of Kristen Chenoweth and her cute little dog and Tim Meadows. And I bet they have a very active life.
What a way to say it. Alonso?
They got Fitbits. They're going on walks in the mountains. It's unbelievable.
Well,
Pilates, spin class. It's crazy.
They're going in Harding on everybody. What?
I'm going to piggyback on that. When we did the preview, I talked about how the plot of this kind of reminded me of Noel Coward's Private Lives, which is a play about divorcees who go on a honeymoon with their new spouses and wind up in adjoining hotel rooms. And I'm thinking now they have set us up that they could do a sequel of this that just is a production of Private Lives with Dan Bukatinsky and Chenoweth and Tim Meadows and the woman from Scrubs. Like they've laid out the groundwork for us.
Yes. Oh, I would give to watch that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a play out of Brian Harold's playbook and just go. I wonder how that the house transaction went. Like, so he was obviously he wanted to sell the house.
Yeah.
And he comes back and he's like, hey. You're gonna have to buy it. But he says a man's got to eat. So
That's right.
She does buy it.
She has to get a mortgage.
I
on the house.
imagine some sort of discount for his daughter. You
It
would
can't
think.
be full price,
Like,
right?
I don't know. Like, what's the deal there on this house? I would like to get into the weeds there.
Well, maybe the deal is like she pays the mortgage until he dies, and then it's
Yeah.
like we'll just forget the whole thing.
That's right.
But
That would
also,
make
what
sense.
does her character do? Like, I know
She's
she's
big-
some sort of big boss
big business.
man
She's
Jenkins,
big boss
but
business
like,
in the big.
what?
Yeah, big. Yeah, that's exactly
she
what
knows
is.
business plans. Okay.
Big boss man
Okay.
Jenkins. That's exactly big boss
She
woman
does
Jenkins.
the business of
This is
business.
business. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what is Lindsay Lohan's contract with Netflix? Like how many movies? Do we know that information or not?
I think
3?
this was it.
This was
right?
it.
I think
So,
this was it.
I'm not saying that Netflix is a second class like organization. They clearly have made some of the things that people have watched more of than anything else. But I think Lindsay Lohan has gotten better in all of these movies. I think acting wise, I think she has some real subtly funny moments here, including the delivery when she finds out chocolate is poisonous to dogs. And how she says, like, well, who knew that is really funny. Her narration is really funny. So my question is, as a tried and true member of the Lohanescence, is Lindsay going to get a feature film?
Has she paid her dues?
Has she shown you that she's back yet? Like, we need to see Lindsay in a feature film on the big screen. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And I want to know
she's-
if that's in the works.
She's too old for Hallmark, and so We know she can't get there.
Well, I mean, although here's the thing, though. I mean, they're tragically the Hollywood writ large is not making movies that are centered on women north of 30, unless you're Meryl Streep, and even then, not with the frequency they should. So this is kind of a sweet gig for her.
Yeah.
It would be nice if yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I think she has proven, hey, I can still do this. I'm really good at this. You should put me in other things. And I hope some enterprising like Coralie Farjah, who should be calling her to do The Substance 2 or whatever, cool filmmakers should be hiring her to do cool stuff.
That's exactly what I thought feature film
But in the meantime, this is a nice paycheck gig for a woman of her status in the industry.
Yeah, no, I think
She's got
feature
the
film is the
chops.
wrong way to say. I want somebody like directors to take notice, and they're who like to take chances and like to do things differently and make new stuff. I think Lindsay should be up for something in there. I think she should.
I agree.
All right, we did it, everybody. Congratulations to us. We're going to be back next week with our final Netflix one of the year. It's going to be That Christmas.
That Christmas.
That's right. So join us for that, and join us tomorrow. We'll be back with another one. Until then, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmarks, a Bramble Jam podcast, is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.